East Coast Breakfast. The best podcasts picked fresh for you. This is Podcast Pick on East Coast Radio.
Guys, I keep stumbling across, I think I have a new favorite, and then you know when you do your podcast, it says, you might like this as well. You must click on those and actually give them a bash. I found this one by mistake. It's called The 3 Questions with Anthony Richter. Now, you might not know the name Anthony Richter, but the moment you see his face, you go, oh, I've seen this guy from so many TV shows. No, he's a really, really funny guy with a really, really nice voice. And Andy Richter basically does 2 things. He sits down with everyone from Rihanna to Paul Rudd, and he asks the same 3 questions. Where do you come from? Where are you going? What have you learned? Those are the 3 questions. And it could be anything between 30 minutes to an hour and a half. And they just float around those questions. It's wonderfully revealing, wonderfully simple. He's got a great personality. And, of course, the access to that level of celebrity is amazing. And it's lovely to just listen to while you while away your day. The 3 Questions with Anthony Richter.
Love that one. Very, very, very lucky.
Yeah.
And then with the Rugby World Cup fever building and the Springbok World Cup announcement, the squad happening this past week, I have been listening to a podcast called Rugby Bits. The episode's about 90 minutes long, and it focuses on the Springboks, the URC, and I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter, but hashtag Saffers Abroad, while looking at the big news and results over the rugby over the weekend from the rugby world across every single league.
Okay.
The podcast co-hosted by Jared Wright, Ugosha Sosinki, Sean Lilford, and Talam Soot.
Williams and Kobajana almost play a sort of similar game. Faf and Jane are probably the better box kickers, better game managers and controlling the game, where Ocean gets sort of the hybrid between those two. Like he sort of can manage a game and also has a good running game. And you know, you go in the last round of trials and your coach, like, you got 10 minutes to sort of do something. Yeah, probably showed why the Springbok coaches have always had that faith in him.
There you go.
All things rugby.
Yeah.
Rugby Bits. All right, got it.
I have a bit of a different one today. So our guest podcaster is Nicole Engelbrecht from True Crime South Africa. And
Yes.
by the way, she's one of the country's top podcasters.
My podcast pick is a true crime docu-series podcast called Something Was Wrong. It's available on all major podcast platforms, and the episodes are around an hour long. I think it's a really valuable and interesting podcast because it discusses real-life stories of abuse, manipulation, and coercive control in all sorts of relationships, from friendships to work and intimate relationships. Something Was Wrong is definitely an important listen.
Also, everybody's into podcasts these days, and you want to know everything about it, and you might want to start your own. We have a frequently asked section that you can send to us, breakfast@ecr.co.za, and you can have your question answered.
So a question I'm often asked about podcasting is, how do I create a successful podcast? Without fail, my answer to that question is consistency. There are, of course, other factors to consider, but if you consistently show up for yourself and your listeners, the rest will follow.
All right.
The best podcasts picked fresh for you. It's Podcast Pick on East Coast Radio.